It's One Soccer Direct, and Casey Stoney, head coach of the women's national team, has released the roster for the upcoming friendlies against Costa Rica and the United States. One of the big stories in naming this squad was the addition of Annabelle Chukwu. And if you follow Canadian players, you've probably already heard this name before. If not, well, let us introduce you to this incredible player. The Notre Dame freshman has a Canadian record already of 39 goals and 42 international youth level appearances. I mean, what should we realistically expect here, Ollie, from this 18-year-old? And is she the savior for scoring goals? Not to put much pressure on her right out of the gate.
I'm looking forward to finding out. Like, it's always difficult to kind of project, what is a player going to be like at the senior level after they've torn it up with the youth teams. I think it was pretty clear by the end with the under 20s that she was just too good for the level, and she looked a cut above pretty much everyone else on the fields. But that says something in itself, right, about this player's readiness for the senior level and the talent that's there. She looks really technical, looks like a different kind of forward, I think, than Canada currently has on their roster. So I'm really excited to see how Annabelle Chukwu can start to adapt to the senior and international game. She's obviously in college now at a good school and is going to play at a good level there. And I think this is someone who has the talent, as we've seen with Olivia Smith, to make a pretty quick impact on the senior program.
Speaking of Olivia Smith, AGR, she was not named here. We know in that last game against Haiti, left the game. They have said she took a ball to the head, dealing with a concussion, still dealing with those symptoms. She plays for Liverpool, was up for 2 awards this year in the WSL. I mean, and also internally within Liverpool, won some awards. I guess disappointing for her more than anything, but when you just see what she can bring, obviously it's also important to stay healthy here for her too, because this seems like an incredible talent that the national team could really use.
100%. And obviously some potential, rumors continue to swirl around her after just 1 year at Liverpool. There's talk of, could she move to, an even bigger giant of football. It's tough because since Casey Stoney's arrived, she's kind of battled a couple of injuries. You want to see her fit into this team because she's the kind of player that this team could be built around going forward. What she can do on the ball, just her dribbling, her goal scoring ability. I think she's starting to grow as well as a creator on the defensive side of the game. She seems like someone that this team will be built around going forward. And I think Casey Stoney hasn't had that chance to properly work with her. But as we know, it's tough with head injuries. And if there's a year to be absent for whatever reason, for injuries, whatnot, this is the time with this women's national team. It's been a great period to experience depth. But definitely we hope by the time, say, next year when it's the CONCACAF Championships rolling back around, that Smith is playing a leading role, because she's already doing it for Liverpool. She led the team in goals and was outstanding. So it'd be great to see you do it in Canada Red.
Yeah, it's just a matter of staying healthy, right, Ollie?
Yeah, you just really hope that with any injury, but especially with concussion, it doesn't become any kind of recurring thing, because she was in concussion protocol at the Gold Cup last year as well, had that amazing group stage kind of breakout performance, and then missed the quarterfinal and only played extra time in the semifinal, and missed the She Believes Cup as well. So as much as people question the decision to leave her off the Olympic roster, and I think justifiably so, there were some injuries in the build up to the tournament that weren't ideal for her in terms of her chances there.
Yeah, named to World Cup squad, not the Olympic squad afterwards. Yeah. Jade Rose, as we make our way to that backline, signs a 4-year deal, Manchester City. What do you think this means, Ollie?
I think this is the kind of move that I was expecting for a player that I think has the potential to be a world-class defender. I really still think Jade Rose, when you look at all the top young talent on the Canadian roster, can be at the absolute top of that list. I think she can be as good as anyone on this team. I was expecting that there would be a bit of a bidding war to get her from Europe, from the NWSL, and she ends up at a top club in Manchester City. So I think it's a great signing for them. I think she's someone who can make an immediate impact. And like I say, this is a player that I know we've seen maybe Canadians in the past go to those types of clubs and get a little bit of experience or play here and there, but then need to make another move to really cement their first team place. I think she has everything that it takes to be a first team regular at that kind of level.
Yeah, what do you like about her, AGR?
Yeah, I think she has all the tools first and foremost, right? Like, she's tall, she's very rapid, but she's great on the ball, can ping it, she can dribble, she's that modern center back, right? Where you want them to defend, but she's starting attacks and doing that as well. But then she also just has a brain for it, because there's, she could have all the tools and not know how to use them. She does. She's done it since a young age, and she was 18 out there as a center back. It's obviously one of the hardest positions in the world, and she just knows where to be, when to go down and make a tackle, when to step. And I think that's why it's so exciting to see her join a club of this level, because she's just going to get to refine the consistency of her game that she didn't maybe get in college, the more technical work of training every day, because otherwise she has everything to play at the top level. And she's shown that in the games she's gone against the likes of a Sam Kerr. For me, that game in 23 when she went up against Sam Kerr, or it was end of 22, and she just absolutely dominated her. That's like, okay, this is a player.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was amazing. You just go back to last year in that Gold Cup semifinal against the United States. Remember, it was that waterlogged pitch. It was horrible. And I just remember Jade Rose really stood out because she figured out immediately what type of passes she needed to make. She figured out those conditions a lot sooner than everyone else, because the ball was just dying. It was like, you can't play it on the ground. And she just knew exactly how to push it up the field. She figured that out pretty quickly. In a year where there are no trophies up for grabs, there really is no competitive games being played here. These are friendlies, AGR. Come on, when you play the United States, though, right? It's always on the line. This is a great measuring stick. This is the team, that has to be the barometer, right? Like, do you feel that this will really tell us where the Canadian team is at this game against the U.S.?
1,000%. I think this is, a perfect chance to see that. Okay, what you learned against Haiti and Argentina, good tests for different reasons. You even go back to the first camp with China, Mexico, etc. Those were good ways to learn, expand your depth. But this is going to be a chance to, all right, if you're going up against one of the, the defending gold medalists at the Olympic level, a team that's going to want to regain the World Cup crown in 2027, the U.S., this is going to be a fantastic test of what Casey Stoney can do. So I'm excited just to see, because I think this might be the first time we see Canada's best available 11, because Stoney's done a very good and important job of rotating and integrating new faces in the fold. So I think we'll get really an informative decision of what she's liked and who she's liked a lot. And then, of course, you add in the layer of her knowing Emma Hayes very well and a bit of that off the field. It's just set up to be an excellent test for this Canadian team.
Yeah, and look, last year Canada was close with the Americans, right? 2 penalty shootouts, and those were very competitive games. So this one's a bit different, obviously, just being kind of a friendly, few injuries on the Canadian side, and more of a measuring stick, as you guys said, for kind of where they are under Casey Stoney working towards that next World Cup. But there's always stakes when Canada plays against the United States, and you want to see them continue to measure up as they have done recently, and hopefully even continue to take more steps forward.
All right, 2 games coming up for the Canadians. June 27th, they will play Costa Rica, and then the much anticipated matchup against the United States goes the day after Canada Day on July 2nd.